God's blessings to you from our family here at St. Simon of Cyrene Parish with our ministry sites at St. Agatha and St. Martin de Porres churches. Offer this reflection on the scriptures for this coming Sunday for your spiritual nourishment and encouragement. But before we begin, let's just take a moment to recognize God's presence in each of us and give thanks for all of our blessings. My brothers and sisters, it may be a shock to you, but Jesus' religion was not Christianity or the original Christian church that became the Catholic, meaning your universal church. No, Jesus was a Jew, specifically a Jewish rabbi. He grew up in a Jewish family, totally immersed in Jewish culture. He was likely exposed to the extreme prejudice against the Canaanite community. There had been years of animosity between Jews and Canaanites. As Jesus was growing as a human being into his full identity, he assumed his mission was solely to the Jewish community, especially to address the Jewish hierarchy who had strayed from God, focused on self-interest, power, and power over the Jewish faithful, many already poor and oppressed by their Roman occupiers. What made it worse was that those Jewish leaders seeking to build and preserve power formed an alliance with the Roman occupiers. Sound familiar compared to today's culture? In this Sunday's gospel, Jesus is dining with his disciples and fellow Jews when a Canaanite woman interrupts their dinner, pleading on behalf of her daughter who is possessed by a demon. His disciples, who in this instance we would call gatekeepers, encourages Jesus to send her away. However, he responds to them, and perhaps her standing at a distance, that his mission is only to the lost sheep of Israel. The courageous woman bows to him and counters Jesus by again pleading her cause, not for her, but for her daughter. And Jesus still pushes back, seemingly calling her a dog in his response. The woman again pushes him again, "Please, Lord, for even the dogs eat the scraps that fall from the table of their masters." Pretty bold, huh? This causes Jesus to open up his heart beyond his Jewish kinspeople, to see that everyone, absolutely everyone, longed for and needed what he felt was his mission only to the Jews. He responds with respect and affirmation of this woman's faith in him, her love of her daughter, and her hope that he could do something to again make her daughter and her family whole. My friends, even Jesus had to grow into his realization of his unique purpose and mission, just like every one of us must do. Our belief is that Jesus was conceived and born into the world as one like us, but without original sin. It doesn't mean that he didn't carry some of the prejudices that the Jewish community carried against the Canaanites and other religious groups. Like racism in our own time, the stereotypes, judgments, abuses, the sense of inferiority and superiority over 500 years have become a part of our physical DNA. So it was likely true of the Jews in regard to Canaanites and vice versa. The only thing that can change that behavior is compassion, openness, kindness, and a generosity of spirit. It took this Canaanite woman to help Jesus see that and ultimately enlarge the scope of his mission to encompass all God's people. So what's the challenge and the good news for each of us? I believe the challenge is to open ourselves to recognize our own prejudices, to think about why we believe negative things about others, and perhaps even more clearly, why we want to believe those things. The effects of trauma can be passed on to future generations through our DNA. It's a proven fact. There is historical trauma, generational trauma, the trauma caused by senseless violence, the actions of others, and our own actions. The good news is that Jesus, like us, had to have his eyes open to see beyond any of those unconscious prejudices he carried in his DNA in order to change the trajectory of his life and mission to be Savior, not just for the lost sheep of Israel, but for us all. And we can do the same, and Jesus can help us if we allow him to do so. On behalf of the Catholic Christian family here at St. Simon of Cyrene Parish, I want to invite you to join us for a special Unity and Back to School Mass this coming Sunday at 10 a.m. on the boulevard across from St. Agatha Church. Following the service, we will have a brief graduation ceremony for our youth who completed the New School Summer Journalism program. We also have a brief presentation on the plight of 7 Black principals terminated in the last 6 months under alleged racist motivations, still not being addressed by CPS. This includes one of our own, Kimberly Gibson Henderson. School supplies will also be distributed to children and youth accompanied by their parents. And there will be lots of great food and other entertainment as well, offered by Play Streets. The service will be live streamed and available for viewing afterward online. We welcome your participation in our community prayer of praise and thanksgiving. Please take the time to share this video with others. It is a great way for you to evangelize, to share the good news. Thank you for all the ways that you continue to allow the Lord to work through you, with you, and in you. And in all things, my friends, be blessed.